Welcome to my Hero Siege Damage Return Ultimate Tank Season 10 Shield Lancer guide. We're going to go ahead and go over the guide. It's just on the website. I don't actually have the build up and running right now. I'm currently leveling that over on Twitch on days that I'm going to be streaming. So if you guys want to check out the progress on the build and everything else, go check us out on Twitch. We'll be live tomorrow and Thursday. I'm making this video and posting it on Tuesday. So you guys should see it. And then tomorrow we'll be live streaming it as well. If you guys have questions, please pop over there and ask. I'm more than happy to answer them. But just wanted to go over the guide real quick and kind of put this out there so therefore there's something there for you guys to see. And then once we do get the build up and running and can actually have some footage of it, we'll get that added on here as well. But just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the guide and kind of go over it with you guys so you guys kind of have a general idea. So first and foremost on here, just a little disclaimer. So the damage return last season wasn't super great. The function didn't really work. A buddy of mine from Travik's community, if you guys know who Travik is, but me and him worked on the build for a couple hours last season, and we weren't ever able to figure out exactly how to scale the damage for damage return. So we ended up kind of scrapping it and pushing it off because I went and started reaching out and asked in like the general chat of the Hero Siege Discord, and I asked a couple streamers around. I asked Benderden, and I actually heard from Benderden that the damage return stuff should be fixed in Season 10. So we're revisiting this build in Season 10 to see how it performs. I'm hoping it works, but I just want to provide a little disclaimer. It may or may not work. So far in my testing on what I've done on stream, it has been working. I'm figuring out how to scale it, so I'm hoping it should work properly. But that's just a little disclaimer here. Just a little overview of the build. So the build's super tanky. I do know that. Like last season, when I was testing it out with my buddy, we ended up running an Inferno map, and I had so many mobs on my screen that I was literally frozen. I couldn't move. My computer was just frozen. And it didn't unfreeze until my homie came over and killed them all with his samurai. And even he would glitch out as soon as he got close to me. But I didn't die through that whole process. So it is insanely tanky, and it definitely was putting out a little bit of damage, but it was nowhere near the numbers it needed to be at for Inferno, or even the Hell 5 for that matter. So here we are, but as you're leveling, you're just going to put 3 into armor, 1 into vitality. It's pretty much going to stay that way all the way through the game, unless you want to go full into armor or full into vitality. You can do that, but the testing last season I found most tanky to be with 3 and 1 for armor and vitality. Your skill tree, so level 1, we changed this up a little bit on stream. We changed it over to battle charge fully for 1 to 7, and then leveling again from level 8 to 15. And then you use Hone Defenses. You can also go full into Battle Charge if you want as well. And then from 16 to 100, you're going to be using Shield Wall for most of your damage, and then gaining some tankiness with these 3 nodes. This is your movement skill. You don't need to use it if you don't like it. Here's your Taunt. You don't have to use Taunt. I personally have Taunt on here because it makes it a lot quicker and makes it feel a little better because you can pull monsters in from a further range and pull them into you. And then same thing with this. Last Stand is kind of, it's your quote unquote oh shit button. It's, if you're about to die and you need to get out, you could pop it. It restores you to full life, and you gain increased magic skill damage and physical damage reduction. So you'll be good there. So skill priority, it's kind of how it goes. As far as weapons, I don't have any of this gear yet. Again, this is all kind of theory crafted, and I'm kind of putting together what we tested last season and whatnot. But as far as like, this is the best in slot stuff that I have found so far. St. Drax's Pig Stick. I don't know how much those are right now. I could definitely go check those on the market and give you guys a price, but I don't know how much the St. Draxis is right now. But last season no one was using them, so they were fairly cheap, and I don't think anyone's really leveling a Shield Lancer this season either. I could be wrong. I'm not super knowledgeable on what the meta is right now. But yeah, but throughout the campaign and stuff, you're just going to want to find weapons that have damage return, vitality, armor, or any type of damage reduction, or like a damage taken recoup his life, right? Those are what you're going to be looking for on any piece of gear. Doesn't just have to be your weapon. The other weapon you could do, like for me finding stuff, I just went in here, typed in damage return. You can use these other weapons in here. Like for example, I used the jousting lance last league a lot. That's what I used basically all the way through all of my testing. It's what I was using. So you can use that as well. You could also use the Hemorrhage. I believe this is actually a new weapon that they just came out with this season. So I haven't done any testing into that. Or you could also do, let's see, I wouldn't. You could probably use Undying just because it has damage return, but it's only 50% versus this, which is 70 to 90, and this is 125. And it gives you strength and some life after each kill. So a little bit more survivability, a little nicety. Strength actually isn't survivability. But yeah. But St. Draxus is going to be your best in the slot. It's giving you 4 to all skills. It's giving you vitality, armor, damage return, and that's kind of the only stats we really care about on there. Event Horizon is going to be the shield that you're going to want to go for. To get Event Horizon, you do need to farm the Architect. Architect was introduced last season. It is the, I don't know what the actual boss is called. I call it a Harbinger because I played PoE 1, and that's what it closest resembles to. But you're going to fight that mechanics boss. That's the Architect, and you have a chance to drop the Event Horizon. It's kind of a pain to get. Last season it was like 10 million gold. It was really expensive, so I didn't ever actually end up getting to test this item. I did, however, test out, let's see here, I think it was the Tombstone. Yes, we did test out Tombstone last season. It works really well. It is another great alternative that you can use as well if you aren't able to get the Event Horizon shield. You can use Tombstone. I will add that onto the guide and literally update it right here. But again, any of these affixes work just fine. And then for the helmet, you're going to be using Eternal Death. The cool part about this one is you have the 20% chance when struck to cast Wall of Eternity. That just sends out a wave of like mummies and does a little bit of damage, just a little bit of extra damage. But mostly we care about the enhanced defenses, the all skills, the armor, the vitality, the defense, the life replenish, the hit recovery, the life increase, and the damage return. This is a fantastic helmet for this build. It has a lot of stats that we care about. I don't know if there's any better helmet than this, but that one is by far the best. As far as your armor goes, there's 2 options that we have. The first one is going to be Azarius' Ironthorn Breastplate. I found this one to be the best. I did do some testing with the other one, which is Dragon Knight's Vanguard. I did do some testing with this one. It's not bad. We just couldn't figure out how to scale it, because essentially what this does is it takes your damage return, and when you get hit, you ignite enemies around you, so it turns it into fire damage, which being my buddy during the testing, weren't really sure on how that works, but if you guys want, you can go around and test that out. This is another good alternative because it makes it so you can't be frozen. We'll add that in there. And you know what? We'll add the other one in there as well for you guys. But these are 2 that you guys are going to test around if you want. But by far in all of my testing, this one was the best. You get that from Chaos Towers. I don't have the augment yet. I haven't looked over the augments, but any defense augment should be just fine. Any sort of like damage reduction or anything like that. You could even do some Magic Find stuff. That's going to be your best bet. But those are kind of the key pieces of gear. Everything else is kind of just like Magic Find. Like we have Pearlescent Dreams. It's just Magic Find. You could use any other boots if you want. If you can't afford Pearlescent Dreams, you can get a different set of boots that you're wanting to get. Or even any mythic boots that have those affixes that we need. Same with the gloves. The gloves do give you a lot of all res, and they do give a Magic Find and the experience gain, which is really good. And then same with the boots, they do give all res and faster hit recovery, so it's not like you won't be getting damage or some sort of damage mitigation from those items. Same with the belt. And then as far as the amulet goes, you can use Earthglass Protection. It's going to give you some more damage return and some damage reduction and some life and some defenses. Or you can use Compass of Wealth if you want to go fully into the Magic Find. And then as far as the ring goes, you can use 2 Dragonsteel rings or 2 Dragon's Blessing rings, or you can use one of each. It's kind of why they're like this. So the Dragon Steel is going to give you the armor, the damage return, some damage reduction, and Can't Be Frozen. We'll also be grabbing a Can't Be Frozen node on the tree as well, which you guys will see here in a minute. As far as the relics go, Cheeseburger, Cookies and Milk, Barbed Shield, Embracer of Life, just defense nodes mainly and primarily, and then a little bit of Magic Find for the 5th relic if you get that far and do all that. Charms, same thing here. You're going to go Hardened Steel Defender, Bag of Unknown Riches, Graxy's Mom Lure. These are Magic Find items. All of these, these are the stats that you want to find on some charms. Any of them just have to have damage return. That's what you really want to look for. And then ones with damage return in Vitality or damage return in Armor or damage return in Vitality and Armor. Any of those will work, or some sort of damage reduction. Those will work for your charms. And then the Beetle of Life is just for more life. You'll have somewhere near, like, I want to say 40 to 60,000 life. I could be wrong. I don't have all this gear yet, so this is all not 100%, but eventually we will be getting all the gear and everything, and we'll have footage to show you guys, because we did figure out last night how to scale this build and how to scale the damage. But that's kind of about it. There is a loot filter guide here. This will take you all the way up to hero level 1 to, or sorry, from level 1 to hero level 140, or 40. And then you'll just obviously take out the D, the C, the B, and the A tier stuff as you go along and whatnot, as far as that goes. And then going into the tree, this is kind of what our tree will look like. We're just going mainly for the damage return stuff. You're going to start here, and you're just going to kind of path up here. And you can grab this node first if you would like. It will increase your damage because you're going to get some poison damage. Or you can go up here and grab this node. This is going to give you a lot of damage return and a lot of maximum life. Or no, this won't give you, well, this will give you a lot of maximum life. If you take this route, it'll give you a lot of max life. This side's going to give you 12 of damage taken return to the attacker. That's very important because this is flat damage, which is what's scaling on there. So when you go into Hero Siege, there's a percentage that's being scaled up now, which last season it was just a percentage value that was being scaled. There wasn't a flat number. That's why we couldn't figure out how to scale it. But this season there seems to be a flat number for damage return and then a percentage number that's going to scale the damage that's returned back. So that's where you're getting the 15% increased total damage return. And then here we have 12 flat of damage taken return to the attacker. So each one of these nodes is going to deal 12 damage every single time you get hit. It's going to deal it back to the enemy. So it's 6 nodes, 60 damage just in these 3 nodes. Then it's going to get scaled by 15% of that damage. And it's going to go up, I don't know the math on that, but it's somewhere near like 200 just for those nodes, right? And then you can go up here. I do recommend going up here and coming into this section and snagging this as soon as you can, as this makes it so for the monster slain by damage return to explode, dealing area of effect damage, and then you get 150% death explosion damage. This is going to scale your damage some more and give you a little AoE so you have some better clear. If you don't want to go up into that though, you can come over here and get this, because this will unleash the piercing spikes outwards when struck, and then you get a little bit of damage return increase. And you can do this one. This is the node that I tested. If you're going to run the Dragon Chestplate, get this node. It will be the one that you'll need because it's going to scale the damage return. It's converted into burning. And with that chest piece, it'll scale a lot better. And then we're going to come over here. These are a couple of defense nodes, right? So like here's the stun and freeze immunity. So you don't really need to worry about getting freeze immunity on the ring. So if you do want to run 2 of the Dragon's Blessings, you can. You already have freeze immunity in here and stun immunity. And then here you have a chance to gain evasion. Actually, we don't want this node. We're going to remove it because we don't want to evade attacks. And then here's a damage mitigation because we are going to be using a shield. The next node is going to be up here, and that's converting armor to damage return. So it goes back to the vitality and armor points for attributes. Eventually, once you get this node, do take all of your vitality points out and put them into armor, and just put every single point into armor. That'll also scale your damage as well. And each one of these nodes is going to give you a little bit of armor increase as well. And then we're just pathing up through here. This stuff, right, these 4 nodes right here don't matter. It's just the shortest path to get up to the next section. You're going to come up into here. Oh, and you're going to get the Hurricane of Bones. That gives you a chance to gain an orbiting bone fragment when struck, and then it takes 50% of damage return inherited by bone fragment. So that'll help out a little bit with damage. You don't actually have to get this node. I do recommend going in and grabbing these nodes because they are flat damage. This is a free... I don't know why I can't do the math on this right now. It's like 42 damage, I believe. But it's a free flat 42 damage that's going to get scaled with all the other percentage stuff. And obviously you're snagging all these armor nodes, so this will scale too. And you're just going to come over here. And if you're going to be doing bosses by the time you get to this point, grab this node first, as this will give you increased damage against bosses. And that's about it. Well, and it echoes an additional time as well. Or if you're not going to be doing bosses anytime soon, snag all of these nodes up here. This is going to give you 50% a flat number to damage return when wielding a shield. On both of these, that's 100, and then each one of these is going to be 8. So there's a lot of damage right here. And then you're going to convert 100% of that into lightning damage. That's where you can actually scale this, because you can then start getting gear that has flat lightning damage, and all of your damage return is scaled and flipped into lightning damage. And this is where you're going to want to be, because this will convert it all into lightning damage, and then you can start using some lightning gear to scale your lightning damage on like your boots, your gloves, your amulet, your rings, your belt, on the pieces that aren't the main 4 core pieces, so your helmet, your weapon, your shield, and your chest piece. Everything else though you can turn into lightning damage, same with their charms and everything else, as long as your damage still feels good and you still feel like you're going to be able to clear. But here's the stat summary. You have your damage returned, 120. Damage returned when wielding a shield, which we will be, so 220. Where's the rest of it? It's going to be 498 flat damage being reflected back, and that's going to be scaled to the moon with the percentages that we have on our gear and in our tree, and it's going to be converted into lightning damage, which you can then get flat lightning. You can also come over, there's a couple other nodes on here that you can get, like down here you can come into here so you get some damage taken or some life replenish per second. This will do 100% overflow effectiveness. I don't exactly remember what that skill does right now for the life of me. And then you can also get the mana tank as well. Those will add some more tankiness to you. There's a couple other nodes on here that you can go through and get as well, but these nodes are essentially the key, most important nodes to get. Once you have these nodes, minus these boss nodes, unless you're going to do bosses, but once you have these nodes, you should be fairly good to do pretty much all the content in the game. Theoretically, this hasn't been fully tested yet, but you should be pretty good to do a lot of things. Socket any sort of damage reflect gem in here. You could use the Agatham jewels in here, or if you find another jewel that has some damage return and some other stats that you like, throw it in there as well. But that's the majority for that. This will be getting updated live on stream and whatnot, and throughout, if I'm playing offline or off stream or whatever, I will update the guide as I go through it and everything else. So it is constantly being updated for you guys, so you guys can constantly come here. You guys can also join my Discord, which you guys are always welcome to do. And there's a whole Hero Siege channel right here. This is where you will ask your questions. If you have questions on any build guides that I make, please feel free to post them here. I will do my best to answer all of them. Same with if you guys have a build of your own that you need some help with, please do post it in here. I haven't fully set this channel up yet, but do post your questions in here. If you need build guide help, please post them here. I will do my best to try to help you guys. Currently, I'm the only one in my Discord that's going to be able to answer the questions. As you can see, I don't have a lot of people that still play Hero Siege just yet, so I would love to get a bunch of people in there. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a good one.